Okay, now you got to understand, if through our whole life, if we were not economically enslaved and had every penny stolen from us through taxes or whatever, how many people would actually really need to take advantage of the old age security thing? You see how when the people are free, the reliance on the system becomes less and less? Okay? We could have true universal health care. I hope many people here have watched Michael Moore's new movie, Sicko. Okay? Especially if you watch the clip relative to Britain. As much as Britain's enslaved, like virtually the rest of us, basically started with the Bank of England years ago. Britain, 1948 or shortly thereafter, they brought in their universal health care. And they cherish that even to this day, where the only cashier, I think, on the movie was someone in the hospital was someone to give refunds. Okay? Not this two-tiered, whatever. It was very, and I think the reason why is because, see, they're the ones that lived only things that we can imagine. They lived during that war. They walked amongst their streets with bodies everywhere. They saw that. And so I don't think they're going to easily forget that. But we don't have to get to that point where we have to experience that. All we got to do is learn from them and cherish what their ideals for preserving that. That universal health care is a non-issue. The only reason it's an issue is because the U.S. wants us to adopt their health care. Private, where there's corporate profit. It's a humanitarian element. Okay, yeah, sure, there may be some selective or voluntary surgeries for whatever that shouldn't be included, but for the basic, fundamental dignity of humanity, this one here, we should have MRIs in virtually every hospital. We should have state-of-the-art. We should not have labor disputes in the hospital, because I really believe, and maybe I'm skewed on this, but I was raised to believe that nurses were like walking angels. They had that true heart compassion. And doctors, true heart. And we see that. We see them going on into other countries voluntarily free. So there's good people there. What we have is the few at the top that's saying, well, let's look at the bottom line first. Binding all these good people from really helping and sharing with others. And true free education. I don't know how many people have kids or where they're at in school, but there's no such thing as free education. First day your kid's in school, you get all these things of everything that they need. We're at a point now where teachers are taking out their own private savings to actually help. So we got the good people there. We just got the policies that say, no, 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 we want to destroy the system. They'll never say it in those clear words, but effectively that's the result of it. So these are there, and from a humanitarian, they're needed. If Canada is to survive and grow into a solid, well-balanced country, we need these things here. These aren't frivolous gifts that, how do you say, food and housing are not luxuries. They're necessities. Health is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Okay? So another thing we can accomplish is smaller and more efficient governments with true transparency and accountability. You see, by the time we get to the point where we can get the money, the right to issue currency back in the hands of the people, this will become a more realistic option. Right now, it is an ever-increasing bureaucracy with layers of uneducated police state minions to destroy everybody else. Why? So the few at the top can get more and more and more and greater control. They have an insatiable greed. It will never be satisfied. Here's the reality. We can all just sit back and do absolutely nothing. It's going to get rough for quite a few years, but eventually they will destroy themselves. Why? Because they have insatiable greed. It'll never be satisfied. And once they finish chewing us up, guess who they're going to start chewing on? Each other. So there's an easy way out, but why don't we step up and wait until we don't have to experience all that? Okay? We'll know when we have a true, transparent government is when they're willing to tell us the truth. When they're willing to use clear and unequivocal languages. When they're not willing to manipulate the media and try to brainwash everyone. Okay? Another thing is open and proper use of technology for the benefit of all mankind. Who knows? I mean, because it's suppressed, we don't know. But there has been, for years, rumors of phenomenal technology laying in the wings, being suppressed from all aspects. And when you look at technology, if it was not about greed and profit for these guys, when we look at it in reality, here's what happened over our history. Here's an excellent time scale I seen on a presentation. I thought it was great. What was this? This was time, and this was production. Okay? Years ago, it took us a lot of time to create a little bit of production. Okay? There was no technology around. Well, as technology increased and advanced, guess what happened? The time it took decreased relative to the production that was made. There came a point, and there was a point I remember in here, there came a point where the time we needed to output was drastically reduced to create the production that we needed. And I don't know how many can remember, but there was talk on the news, or stories this year, that, you know, we could actually all get away with a 35-hour work week. Well, what happened to that? Now we're all up to 70-hour work weeks. This is when you're analyzing this, you go, A plus B equals C. Okay? And it could probably be greatly reduced. Right now, why? But they don't profit from this. The people actually benefit from this because now they have more time to do what? Spend with their loved ones, raise their families, do all those things that actually are humanitarian based, which are anti-profit based. Okay? So again, I don't know how much technology is out there. There's rumors all over there, but until we can take back control and release that, none of us will ever know. But because, I mean, we're more busy now than our grandparents were. Okay? Why? Because more's coming out of our pocket than ever came out of theirs. To do what? To feed these guys. Okay, they're a parasite at the essence of the word. Then we can actually have some true giving going on in this nation and this world, instead of just giving for a tax-deductible receipt. You see how they got us bound? They got us so wrapped in that we can't even afford to give from our hearts anymore. Our giving has to, well, what do I get in return? So I can offset my taxes. Okay? But I know when people are free, they will give. Because you can, how do you say, it's just, you know, what there is, there will be a natural, I'm not saying this is an easy road to get there, but I know over time a natural balance will actually be created and found, and find its own place. And from that we can start building strong family units with children being raised by their parents. What just came out? National child care. Why? Because we ran out of parents? You know, in reality, in I think it was 1992, statistics came out, was the first time in Canadian history the size of the family dropped. Before that, the average family had 2.9 children. Then it dropped to 1.57. It dropped below 2 kids each. So now what? We are so economically enslaved, we have our token child that we send off to daycare. Okay? We have that fulfillment to fulfill our nurturing needs and our family needs, but it's being taken away from us. Okay? So we can accomplish this because we've seen the reality. I say, this is not theory. We have historical, empirical evidence of what a nation can look like when it has control of its finances as a nation and it's used properly. And then we can actually accomplish true freedom. Freedom to succeed and freedom to fail. You know, they got us so, they're training us now, our kids in school, that nobody loses. You all get ribbons. They've denied us the freedom to fail. Now, as hard as that may be on our feelings at that point in time, that's a crucial element to our development. Okay? But if they teach us, don't worry, we're taking care of you, you'll never fail again. We're failing as a whole. Okay? All founded upon respect for moral and spiritual values and the rule of law. There is a balance in there. But it all has to start working together. And the crux of it is that who is in control of our national monetary system? So what does it take to regain control of our national sovereignty? Simple. 2 words. Political will. Because in the words of Bill Abram, money exists not by nature, but by law. That is very profound when we understand that. Money exists not by nature, but by law. Okay? There's 2 worlds. There's this world of natural commerce where we exchange goods and services amongst each other, and there may not be a piece of currency amongst it. But when we talk about money, it's created by law, and it's through the law that it can be used to exploit humanity or benefit humanity. So really, when you boil it down, there's one problem and one solution. And I'm not diminishing all the other symptoms of the original problem. But if we can set those aside and track every problem, or 99% of the problems we perceive in our life, they will all track back to the cause, which then becomes the one problem, and then leaves us with the need for one solution. This comes out of the 1933 Royal Commission on Banking and Currency. You got to understand, we were just coming out of the Depression, and it was really tight and hard on everybody. And here's what Gerald Grattan McGeer, who was representing the Vancouver Trades and Labour Council, was questioning this banker. Okay, as they're investigating this commission here, he goes, will you tell me why a government with power to create money should give that power away to a private monopoly and then borrow that which Parliament can create itself back at interest to the point of national bankruptcy? The banker GF Towers goes. If Parliament wants to change the form of operating the banking system, then certainly it is within the power of Parliament. The problem is, we gave it away. The solution is,